I appreciated the question from Senator Cortez Masto about the limitations on the UAVs and recognize that still you've got some technological issues that you're dealing with. The battery, as I understand, reading through your testimony, Mr. Maish, you've got a 2-hour, batteries take 2 hours to recharge. The 3DR Solo has a range of a half-mile, maximum endurance of 20 minutes. You're still limited to range of sight, which means that you can only do this during the day. And for us in Alaska, in the summertime, we got the benefit of 24 hours up there, but in other places you have more limited application. But also, when you're in the thick of a fire, it's pretty dark in there with the smoke. So where I'm going with this is the innovation within this, I think, very exciting area and application for UAVs. We still recognize that we need to push some of this out, and it will allow us to do more. But I'll direct this question to you, Dr. Miller, because you've been engaged in some of the research. In addition to developing better UAV systems that will allow us greater opportunities, what else is out on the horizon there? You mentioned the mapping, but what is new and innovative that we might be looking to that can be utilized as yet another tool in the toolbox?
Well, one of my colleagues, Dr. Nancy French, recently won a NIST award where they're going to try to make sure there's internet connectivity for the firefighters and BEAR teams, so they'll have mobile, to create faster ways to get all the new information that's coming in. I'm looking forward to using my database with UAVs because there's no reason. Right at the moment, it usually uses Earth observation data from satellites, but there's no reason it couldn't come from, mapping from the UAVs as well.
I don't recall who made mention that we have these infrared cameras that are placed on certain mountaintops. Maybe that was you, Mr. Rice. I just think of the Alaska example, and we're just so huge. We're so big. We're talking in terms of millions of acres rather than thousands. And you mentioned the internet and the connectivity. That's a dream for us in most of these remote areas where we're dealing with the fires. What more can you do? You just can't hope that you put these sensors or these cameras in the right place and get lucky. You mentioned, Ms. Christensen, that I think it was 9 out of the 10 forest fires are started by man. So, okay, we can pinpoint better some of those literal hot spots. But in Alaska, most of our fires are lightning strikes. So, where else do you see us going, Mr. Rice or Mr. Maish?
Yeah, I'll start out. Thank you, Senator. I'll give you an example in Oklahoma. Oklahoma is working with the National Weather Service and a GEO-16 satellite that would actually do real-time detection of fire starts. And so they piloted a project this year as kind of a beta test. And what this does, it gives you potential size, it gives you coordinates and the probability of error, whether it's a false detection or not. But it's still a very new effort, and there happened to be a state that is pioneering that effort with, like I said, NWS. So there could be some application for that in other locations of the country as that technology is further refined, and the algorithms that do the detection and model that are refined and tested. Another example is in CAL FIRE. They have a great application. It's an app that's available to improve public safety. Just came out, I think, this year, and you can register as a member of the public to be notified in your county if there is an incident that you need to be made aware of. It's kind of like reverse 911, but it's actually an application, an app that you register to be part of. You can also allow it to track you, and if you're traveling around the state of California, it will send you notices for any areas that you happen to be that might have an incident that's unfolding. So there's new technology out there, a lot of it, and I think a lot of it's just pushing it out to the agencies so they can start using it, and as we use it, we're going to find new and more innovative ways to make it work better for us.
So with working with the FAA and dealing with the whole line of sight issue, do we have greater latitude in Alaska? Through our UAV Center of Excellence up on the North Slope, we have gotten permission to do testing that is beyond line of sight because of where we are. Are we able to utilize any of that with the UAVs that we're currently using to help us address the fire issues, or are we still subject to the same limits?
Yes, to answer your question, we are still restricted that line of sight or an observer that's in radio communications with the pilot. So you can kind of tier it out further if you have someone that actually can observe the UAV in operation and communicate back to the pilot. At least that's how we're doing it currently. But I think that will evolve as people become more comfortable with the safety aspects of using these types of tools in the same airspace that we have other helicopters. And
Yeah, you got a lot going on.
That's right.
Mr. Rice, did you want to add anything?
Senator, what I would add to Mr. Mesh's comments, so the FAA weather cams that are all through the state of Alaska, being a pilot, I've used them numerous times, and being able to pick up any place if you're down in Juneau and you want to look at Barrow, or you're out in western Alaska and you need to see what's going on in the pass to get back into Anchorage. I think the ability, and that type of example exists all across the country, whether it's street cams, recreational cams that folks have up. So being able to leverage those different data streams is an option that we need to explore. It's something where, right now we're talking about what do we have and what can we use, but let's talk about what's out there and what's available and how do we actually capture that and leverage those investments. So that's the first place. The other place, within some of the federal agencies, especially in DOD, so Department of the Army has some smartphone devices, smartphone software that allows data sharing rapidly, and right now it's only Android-based, so it's not on your iPhone, but it's on your other types of phones. But that's another example of ways that we can start managing technology better and building off of each other's investments.
Thank you. I'm going to have to go to the floor. We've got a vote coming up quickly, and I'm going to go make a comment, but I'll ask Senator Cantwell to close out the hearing and just give you all my appreciation. Know that we want to work with you as we address these issues of fire management and how we deal with our wildfires around the nation. Thank you, Senator Cantwell.